Welcome back.
Hello.
I wish that the video panned down a little bit because Ellie's trying very hard to be in the video today.
She's just lost.
Yeah,
She doesn't know where she is.
It's hard being an elderly dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have two of them right now. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about intention and like being intentional. And I just was listening to a podcast and there was a guest on there. His name is Harry Cohen. And he lives and works in Ann Arbor, which, always makes me happy. But he wrote a book called Be the Sun, Not the Salt. And I thought even just the title of that's pretty cool, like if you think about that. And
Be the sun, not the salt?
Yep.
What?
So, like I like sun, but like how sun is something that adds to like life, right? And like putting salt on people's roots like would kill it, right? So I don't know. I haven't read the book, I'll be honest. It's only this book that he is talking about, this Be the Sun, Not the Salt, is 31 pages. So I think it's more of a guide, a little bit of a how to think about life and your intentions throughout it, right?
Okay.
But one of the things that I thought was really cool was he has this acronym called SCORE. And just kind of thinking about how to keep on track with, some kind of critical things in your life. And so S stands for sleep. C stands for consumption. And by that, it's both consumption of like media and everything else, but also consumption of food, right? O stands for outdoor, being outdoor. R stands for relationships. And E for exercise. So I just was thinking about how I'm always on this kind of quest of like what's the perfect, balance of all of this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I guess what I've sort of realized is there is no perfect balance of all of it. But
why do you say that?
Well, I guess maybe there is there's a balance, but like sometimes I need more sleep than other times, right? Sometimes some of the needs outweigh the other ones, I guess, or something.
Don't you feel like you hit the sweet spot every now and then? I don't know.
Sometimes, yeah, I guess.
I feel like I'm completely in the sweet spot most of the summer, if not all of it.
Really? I think yeah. Like my sleep has been terrible the last 3 nights. So I don't know. I don't know that I don't find that I get into a sweet spot and stay there necessarily.
Okay.
Also, just sometimes it's hard for me to maintain anything consistently. Mm-hmm. So I guess I'm trying to figure out where the variability is always going to be a part of this, like how to still make it beneficial overall or not feel like I'm...
Because, the score, all of that, is going to... The parts of that is going to be different for everybody.
Yes.
For their sweet spot, for their...
Yes.
How they feel the best and are getting everything out of those things.
To get their needs met in the best way. Yeah, I think that's super important to think about because, like, that's why, like, you can't, there isn't one size fits all, mm-hmm. Just like there's no one cancer treatment, right? Everything, there's so many variables.
And what you need out of those things in your normal life compared to during treatment, compared to what day after treatment, compared to, it's different. But I think understanding our bodies and what it needs, how it best runs is pretty darn important in this.
I agree. And I think it's also realizing that again, that our bodies are all different. So just because somebody is telling you, well, I'm doing this, even for us, like we've been both trying to lose some weight or whatever. I mean, you literally were just saying, I could just not eat for 4 days. That would work for me. Like, that would not work for me. I guess I could get through it, but I would feel like absolute.
Well, I wouldn't feel great either, but I would get to my goal. And I am a goal-oriented person.
Yeah. But it is different. It's not like, somebody will say, I'm doing this as if it's the magical thing. And it's not, right? It's all magic. Of those things. Yeah. It's a combination, and the way our body is reacting to different things as well, right?
And it's interesting. It's, just our outlook on everything too is perception.
Yeah.
I think if you're just more of a, I'm just going to say positive type of outlook person, you're going to be in the sweet spot more just because that's your kind of go-to.
Yeah.
Whereas somebody else, they might actually be in a pretty sweet spot in all of those things combined, where they just always are like, no, it's not perfect.
They're recognizing the deficits, what could be better, right? Whereas I think it is really important to kind of to realize that what you are doing right, or what is working for you, and what you can, of course we can always build on things. We can always be better. We're humans, right? So there's always something, but I just thought it was interesting. I think it's funny because sleep gets talked about, but it just says, everybody always just talks about sleep. But we still live in a society that's very driven towards, like, the more you do, the better you are. And I don't think we recognize that there are different, like, levels. Some people need more sleep than others. I think I need more sleep than you do.
For sure. It comes down to quality of sleep.
Yeah.
And a lot of those people always just say, well, I need 8 hours, I need 6 hours, I need 9 hours. But it's the quality of the sleep in there, which more depends on how much you need. Because in the end, we count on, trying to get 4 to 5 cycles of REM. And that's when our brain is truly resetting itself. But you can sleep for 12 hours, and if all of your sleep is terrible and you're waking up every 30 minutes, not coming to consciousness, but you're just not going to feel rested when you wake up.
Yeah.
So,
and I think people just have different sleep patterns too, right? Like,
they do.
I mean, some people are nappers, some people are not nappers.
Yep.
Some, I actually, like, a 20-minute nap for me feels really good. It's not something that I ever need to, like, set an alarm for, but I would say, I don't know. I mean, I definitely don't do it every day, but I like a 20-minute nap. It definitely helps me.
And I only nap if I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I mean, I've napped 5 times in the last 30 years.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work for me.
And it's for you, like, the more tired you get, it still doesn't, a nap doesn't help with that. Like, if you've...
It might. My body, I don't know why I don't nap. I don't know. There's a few times I have.
Yeah.
And it feels good, I guess.
Yeah. What about, like, consumption?
I'm really working on that.
Yeah.
On consumption right now. And it's specifically my phone. Trying to keep my phone out of my hands because, I was, on average doing 4 to 5 hours a day. Just on my phone. So not talking about just social media. There's definitely some things that were productive on me doing that. And sometimes I'm using a map. Well, that counts.
Yeah, a podcast counts.
A podcast counts. There's some positive things you could be doing on your phone. But just in general, even if I'm doing positive things, well, the phone's in my hand and I'm going to check social media. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that. So I just thought, that's not healthy for me to be 4 to 5 hours of my waking day on that. So I'm, and now I'm down to an hour, so in the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I think it was, I got down to 2 hours, and then now I'm down to an hour on average. And that just feels better to me. Doesn't mean I'm a better person. Doesn't mean I feel like though, what am I doing in those 4 hours? Well, I'm doing a lot of studying right now because I need to, and that's good for me because I'm going to have better results from what I'm studying. And so, But if I was just bored out of my mind and just replacing that with TV and stuff like that, well, flip a coin. I mean,
yeah, I think, well, it's interesting though, because I was going to say, like, I need to continue to limit, I'm not at an hour or two right now with my phone, but I am finding that I want to limit my consumption because I need to be bored, which it sounds kind of crazy, but I've also been reading this too, and like, we need to be bored to be creative.
Yeah, I agree
and
with
it's
that.
really important to me right now as I'm trying to move into other things that creativity is there. And so therefore it is kind of like I need to be at a point where it's like, I don't.
Yeah, it's not even bored. It's just no stimulus coming in.
Right.
That, and I wouldn't call that bored because, like, when I'm driving, that is a time where my brain, before I go to sleep, my brain is just, what am I doing the next day and how can I do it? Mm-hmm. And I enjoy that for sure. I do a lot of problem solving and really thinking through things, so I'm more productive maybe the next day because I've already processed a lot of it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't call it bored though.
Yeah, and I was gonna say I feel like a lot of times the ideas that really hit me come with some kind of activity as well. But I think it is also kind of the combination of giving myself time to not be bringing in other people's ideas, but maybe bringing out my own.
Yep.
Right?
For sure. Yep. So, and, probably as a society right now, we're not doing a very good job of that.
Yeah.
Just in general. There's too much stimulus coming in.
Yeah. In
my opinion. Now, a lot of that stimulus can be positive stuff.
Oh, so good, yeah.
But for me, I need to back away from it right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And I figure if I come back and then I can find that sweet spot for me, but...
And then, again, it might be different at different times of the year. It might be different at different, just based on what you've got going on and things. The other thing would be consumption, would be, like what you're eating. And, I mean, again, we can all... we're
doing pretty good there. I mean, we're doing the best for a sustained period of time. We're doing the best that we've done in maybe for a long time, 20 years. So sustained. Now we have a holiday coming up that our family loves, and I love, and you love, and it's awesome. Mm-hmm. And I'm not gonna be as on point with my nutrition. And I know that. I'm okay.
I know that too, and I'm okay with that too. I've actually been keeping track in my own journal about consistency. So what I'm really trying to do is just to have more days of consistency, right? Mm-hmm. So it's so funny because you kind of go 80% consistent would be, you think, oh, no problem. Well, if you look at that in a month, then you don't have, that's, I don't know how many days, whatever. You do the math on that. But you've got 4 or 5 days that you can hit that 80%, but that's only 4 or 5 days. When you blow out every weekend, or sometimes for us, we would blow out every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so that's what I've been trying to be mindful of is okay, when I can be, let's get these consistent days in so that I can be more inconsistent and still hit that 80%. Yeah. So, I think that's good. And
the holidays just give me a different curveball because my big sin is overeating. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily junk food.
Yeah.
Although I get on those kicks too. But now this holiday weekend, it will be junk food. Yeah. I know that it's food that's not on the healthy list for sure.
Yeah.
And it just smells good and it's there and it's sitting right on the counter and I'm going to eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, it is about just kind of that whole analogy of okay, so if you have 4 tires and you slash one, or you get a hole in one, you don't go slash the other 3, right? Just get back on the horse, don't say, sure. Oh, I blew it. Of course, we're going to have some fun, and that is what it is. Yeah. Outdoor is the next one. Mm-hmm. And, I just think that's about, being outside and connecting. this is the time of year for us to do it. Of course, it's so much easier. And, we were outside for a couple hours at least yesterday. And I've just been trying to sit outside more or, the other...
A lot of my jobs that I've been doing, the jobs that are just this build up on my list of stuff I got to do. And I didn't do anything in the spring because I was coaching and, well, as an excuse. But the weather's crappy and stuff. And I'm just kind of knocking them off, and they're all outside things. So for me, that's working out pretty good. Plus, we walk every day, and that gets us outside for a little bit. And
yeah, and even last week I went for a walk. I was, near the big water. It's like, okay, I could walk on a trail here, but I can walk on a trail at home all the time. I don't get to walk by Lake Michigan every day, and I just chose that really for the nature as well, to have my feet in the sand and just the connection with that. I think it's cool. So, relationships, the next one. And I think, relationships are complicated. Some are...
You got to work at them.
Yeah, some are easier than others. And just, amount of relationships we have and what they all look like and what the give and take is with each of them. And I think it's okay to... it's important to kind of think about what are the important relationships in your life, and are you pouring into those versus is there also relationships that you maybe spend a lot of time because of convenience or because of work or because of whatever. I think there's, that's not necessarily always the quality. Of course you find some people, but yeah, and just how that all looks. Sometimes I feel like I have a lot of different relationships, like separate relationships. My friends are like separate friends, which takes a different kind of maintenance from a group of people that all get together at the same time, But yeah, I think understanding and sometimes thinking about how do I feel after spending time with a person, or how does that, is this person there for me, and also just understanding that some people can give some things and some people can't, so
yeah,
I think it's good.
Yeah.
And then exercise. You probably have maybe a little more to say about exercise, but
yeah, exercise sucks most days.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, for me right now, I'm definitely in the habit. So it's good. It's what I do. That's what I do. And for a couple hours a day, that's what I'm going to do. And once you get into that habit and you're not sore anymore and you're not, it's hard for me right now, but there's an end of the tunnel every day. I can see, okay, 2 more sets and, or whatever that is. But it feels good when I'm done. And I know that it's going to feel good. And, And once you start, seeing results from what you're doing, that helps too. And, but it's hard to get in that habit.
I think one of the things that I'm wrestling with right now is that, like I can walk all day long. Like nothing, I can walk miles upon miles and that kind of stuff is fine. But I don't think that's really increasing my health benefit so much at this point.
Oh, I think it is.
Maybe it is. But I just feel like there's also a lot of other things that I need to pay attention to. And also, partly because I'm moving into a different part of life where I don't have to be at a job as much. But I really do feel like this is my job. Like the health, I've lost a lot health-wise over the years. And some of that is just we only have so much time and energy and focus, and it does, I don't know, it does bother me. Like, oh my gosh, I'm a little worried about my fitness, even though I can walk and do things like that, I get tired at things that I just am grateful that I do have the time, but I do also need to put in the time, in terms of it might be.
Are you saying what you're doing is not enough?
I'm saying that walking, I know, has an overall benefit.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I need to be physically stronger. Like I think my cardio needs to improve in other way. Like I would love to not be as winded when doing things. I know that I'm dealing with a heart issue, but I also look at that and go, how can I build up my heart, this muscle that I need so badly? How can I work with it and not just go, it's damaged? Like I want it to beat for as many years as possible. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so when I see that there's a decline and I'm 52, I think, oh my gosh, how do I slow that, Mm-hmm. And I think, that is by working it in different ways, right?
For sure.
So, yeah.
I'm surprised, everybody, the big talk or the big focus, I think, is on cardio. And that's walking, jogging, running, sprinting, or sprinting if it's consistently without long rests, swimming, things like that. And that's where a lot of people, point their focus. But, I'm much more into muscular endurance now. I don't do muscular strength just because it injures me, but muscular endurance, my heart rate goes at a higher rate during reps of muscular endurance than it does cardiorespiratory endurance. And I'm
so you're saying like the exercises you're doing with weights
without rest, and getting to that point of failure over a, say, 3, 4, sometimes 5-minute period of time without rest is what's been the answer for me.
Well, and that's where I guess I do need to continue to look at this stuff because, I'm going to my heart rate is going to go high. The only time it's going to go high when I'm walking is either if we're really going fast or going up a hill.
Yeah.
But then if I'm doing squats and lunges and those kind of things, it's also, that's when it's going high, So
I think what we can get better is the progressive principle, it's called. There's an overload principle. It just means work hard.
Yeah.
Don't just go for a walk and you're having a conversation.
Right.
You got to push yourself. And if you've ever walked with Heather, you're going to push yourself because she's like an Olympic speed walker. But whatever you did last week, if you're doing it again this week, you're not really progressing. Mm-hmm. It's a progressive principle. You need to take it to the next step. Yeah. So, we do the walk. Well, we need to add a half a block in there each week. Mm-hmm. Or we need to do another trip up the driveway each week. And we need and if we're not doing that, you're not truly getting the same benefits that you got the week before.
Yeah.
And that's true with the muscular endurance or muscular strength things we're doing. You got to push to the point where you're going, I hate this.
Right. And again, a different podcast that I was listening to last week was talking about adding incline or adding weight, to walking, and at an interval level of even just like 4 times or like 4 minutes, And our driveway, if you saw it, it goes uphill at the end, right?
Have you seen our driveway?
No.
Oh, if
you could see it. But our driveway is perfect for this type of situation. And so big hill and also long. Like you can definitely spend a minute on it, And so I just thinking about, I know on like Tuesdays and Thursdays you jog at the end, and I was like, I can add those intervals in then, and not that we couldn't add an extra hill climb in every day, we could, but like those type of things. I think you're right, where I'm feeling kind of plateaued and a little scared about like, I need this to, and what can I do about it? That isn't like, I also know I can't be just an idiot. Like I can't go wrong. I can't do things that I can't be an idiot about it. But it's like, so how do I build in a way that
you have to be safe? That
is safe and smart.
And you do that little tiny increments. And that's for my muscular endurance. You already know what I mean. I add a rep per week.
Yeah.
1 rep.
Yeah.
To each thing I do. But all of a sudden it starts building up and it's hard. It was hard when I did that, and then I add a rep in the next week, and I'm just like, there's no way I can do this, but I do.
Yeah.
And then and I look back at where I was and just go, geez, I can't even believe I was only doing that.
Yeah.
It just, when you take baby steps in this, it's just so much more doable. But if you're just starting out, there's a hummingbird. When you're just starting out, you got to get through the soreness and through the sucky part of the beginning. Once you get through that,
I think I agree with that, but also just recognizing that random Wednesdays are going to suck. Like, you know what I mean? It's not going to be like, oh, I'm through this. There's going to be certain days that you just go, this freaking sucks today.
Yeah. You know, I don't feel like it.
I don't. And even, I mean, just...
And those are the days, gosh, when you do it, though, it feels better than any other. When you feel great, it's easy.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. So it's just one of those things where it's like, again, is there a perfect? I don't know if there's a perfect, but just continue.
There's not a perfect, as the seasons change, the workouts that we're doing, we obviously know in the fall this changes for us big.
Yeah.
And just because we're not both available to do this every morning, and it's awesome when you have the time to do this. Yeah.
But also, I guess that's part of where I also am proud of us working together and me. I have always said I need the time, and not always giving it to myself, but I feel like I'm giving myself the time back. And that's, a big thing in terms of, when you're managing a disease like cancer, that you do always need to keep it on the forefront. Like, health is the basis for everything we do, right? So I feel like you can push it off sometimes, but ultimately...
That's physical health and mental health.
All of it.
Keeping it on point. Or doing the best to, again, keep the balloon in the air. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yes. And also, like, you have to work within what you have, right? Beating yourself up about something that you don't have control over, or the fact that you need to, get it, bills to pay and things like that. But
or even the envy of looking at somebody else who's accomplishing something, and maybe they're your age or something like that, and you're just like, I really want to be that, but you cannot do it. For example, with the things with cancer, you don't have the heart.
I don't.
That literally somebody your age in the same kind of you don't have that.
I feel like all my friends right now are running. Like, they're running distances, they're running all these things, and it's just like, I don't have...
Yeah, but ask them to go walking with you. You'll kick their ass. Well, it's the hardest thing ever, walking with Heather.
Well, I guess so we're all good at our own things, right? So, anyway. I don't know. I just thought, again, I like the SCORE acronym just as a little check-in of how things are going. And
what was his name again?
Harry Cohen.
Good job, Harry.
Cohen. Yeah.
That was good.
And, I think I'll probably grab the book too, since
I think I could read a 31-page book.
I don't know if you can call it a book. I like that you call it a book for 31 pages.
Good work.
Woo! All right. Well, have a good one.
See ya.